In early 2025, Thai cybercrime agents entered a private Telegram channel labeled Medical Research. Inside were hundreds of surgical clips, most routine, until they opened one file called Patient Zero Bangkok. The footage showed a real operation, but the room wasn't a hospital. It was an abandoned shopping mall lit by flickering fluorescent lights and echoing metal trays. The patient never moved. Investigators traced the upload to a cosmetic surgeon missing since 2023, and whispers began about a cult-style clinic that called itself the Spiritual Body Trade. Before the file could be removed, it spread through encrypted mirrors across the dark web. What the video revealed was not medicine, it was marketing for an auction no one was meant to see. The investigation began with a routine digital sweep. Thai cybercrime analysts were scanning Telegram clusters for financial scams when they found a private group with fewer than 50 members. The profile banners showed nothing but a pair of surgical gloves laid neatly beside a scalpel. The channel name read Anatomy Lab 2.0. At first, the clips seemed educational short procedure recordings labeled by anatomy part. But within minutes, investigators noticed something off. No hospital watermark, no instructor voice, no background chatter of a real operating room. The microphones captured only the hum of fluorescent lights and the slow, rhythmic clink of metal. When they opened a file called thoracic_demo-bangkok.mp4, the footage revealed a tiled room half lit by failing bulbs. A patient lay motionless on a table surrounded by stainless instruments still in packaging. One figure moved in frame, wearing an unmarked surgical gown and a necklace carved from ivory. The metadata showed upload from an IP block near Pathum 1, the district that contained a long-abandoned shopping complex sealed after the pandemic. Agents cross-referenced the IP with a dormant cosmetic surgery license belonging to Dr. Prasert Ananiko, missing since 2023. His clinic, Skin and Soul Aesthetics, had shut down after multiple malpractice suits and patient disappearances. Local rumors said he joined a healing collective that believed organs carried spiritual value. The team flagged the account for immediate takedown, but before moderators could act, mirror links appeared across encrypted folders on the dark web. Within hours, the clip multiplied through servers in Russia and Malaysia, renamed dozens of times. The more they deleted, the more it reappeared. What began as an isolated discovery was now the first confirmed case of real surgical footage circulating through a monetized dark web auction system, an economy built not on drugs or data, but on anatomy itself. By the time Thai investigators requested international assistance, the file had already spread beyond control. Mirrors of Patient Zero, Bangkok, were circulating through onion domains linked to known dark web marketplaces. Instead of being sold as a single clip, it appeared in bundles titled Medical Study Content. Payments were accepted in cryptocurrency, tracked through cold wallets that showed activity spikes each time law enforcement mentioned the case publicly. Interpol's cyber forensics team joined in late February 2025. They identified 3 main distribution hubs operating from Malaysia, Romania, and Brazil, each re-encoding the footage to avoid hash-based detection. One server displayed metadata tags referencing live bid streams. That suggested the existence of real-time auctions, viewers paying to watch procedures as they happened. Language analysis of the chat logs showed a mix of English, Thai, and Russian. Some messages used medical terminology correctly. Others read like ritual chants. One line translated to, "The body is currency. The cut is purity." Analysts suspected the sellers used symbolic language to disguise transactions. As agents infiltrated the networks, they found hundreds of still frames posted as sample quality. Each image had the same teal-green tint and identical reflection in the metal tray, a ring light halo, consistent with footage taken from the Bangkok Mall. Thailand's Ministry of Digital Affairs coordinated with hosting providers to disable the addresses, but each takedown triggered an immediate mirror elsewhere. Investigators called it the Hydra effect. Cut one server, two appear. Behind the chaos, blockchain traces led to a dormant account, last active from a Bangkok IP, belonging to a surgical equipment supplier. The firm denied involvement, claiming their credentials had been hijacked. Yet within their invoices lay a clue: repeated bulk orders of anesthesia, sutures, and cold storage units shipped to an unregistered facility outside Nonthaburi. Forensic teams realized the auctions weren't theoretical, they were logistical. Someone had built an entire supply chain beneath the surface web, hiding commerce inside code. Before patient zero, Bangkok, surfaced, Dr. Prazert Ananakul had already become a rumor in Thailand's medical circles. Once celebrated for pioneering non-invasive skin grafts, he lost his license in 2023 after 2 patients vanished from his cosmetic clinic. Colleagues said he'd grown erratic, speaking of spiritual transplants and the idea that every organ carried moral weight. Police questioned him twice, then he disappeared. His apartment in Thonburi was found abandoned, refrigerator unplugged, walls lined with anatomy charts annotated in Sanskrit and Latin. On his desk sat an old desktop computer filled with archived surgery tutorials downloaded from private medical servers. Each video was slightly edited color, corrected to the same teal tone later seen in the skin collector footage. Forensic analysts discovered deleted correspondence with an anonymous Telegram user called med_healer. The messages discussed renting a quiet location for extended procedures. Payment receipts pointed to a storage unit on the outskirts of Bangkok. Inside, investigators found medical lighting rigs, blood filtration equipment, and printed pamphlets titled "The Spiritual Body Trade." The pamphlets described a belief that organ donation could cleanse karma if performed while the donor was conscious. The text used both surgical diagrams and religious scripture, merging science and mysticism into one ideology. Experts from Chulalongkorn University called it ritualized eugenics disguised as salvation. Interpol traced similar documents on dark web boards referencing the Bangkok surgeon. Each post used identical phrasing. Beauty is a transaction between flesh and faith. The same sentence appeared engraved on a brass plaque recovered from Dr. Prazert's clinic door. When investigators reconstructed his online activity, they realized he'd never left the medical community. He had simply moved beneath it, teaching a doctrine where the operating table became an altar. The disappearance wasn't an escape. It was evolution. At 4 a.m. on April 18, 2025, Bangkok's Cyber Crime Division coordinated with local police for a controlled entry into the abandoned mall at Pathum 1. The complex had been sealed since 2020, its escalators frozen in mid-descent, air thick with mold and chemical residue. Thermal drones showed a single heat signature moving between levels. Officers cut the locks and advanced under dim emergency lights. The smell of antiseptic still lingered. Inside a former clothing store, they found a makeshift operating theater metal tables, saline bags, stacked monitors running diagnostic software with no network connection. Every surface wiped clean except one, a surgical tray holding a brass tag engraved with the initials PA. Behind a curtain lay cold storage units humming faintly. Inside were surgical instruments packed in numbered trays, each labeled by organ type but empty. Nearby, a broken camera tripod faced a cracked monitor that replayed looped footage of surgical lighting and artificial heartbeat for an operation that no longer existed. Digital forensics officers cloned the hard drives scattered across the floor. Most contained corrupted video data, but fragments revealed time stops from January 2023 to March 2025, nearly 2 years of continuous uploads. Embedded metadata matched the same encryption patterns used in Anatomy Lab 2.0. The final recovered clip was only 6 seconds long, a surgical light flickering, then a reflection of someone stepping away from the camera. Investigators couldn't identify the figure, but height analysis suggested Dr. Prasert. The file name read simply offering_complete. The mall was sealed again within hours, declared unsafe for entry. None of the recovered footage was released publicly. Officials referred to it only as evidence set theta. Behind closed doors, experts debated whether they had raided a crime scene or a shrine built to technology's new god, efficiency without empathy. Weeks after the raid, digital forensics teams decrypted fragments from the corrupted drives. Each recovered frame pieced together a timeline that challenged every assumption investigators had made. The operations weren't conducted by force. Most participants appeared conscious, staring directly into the lens as if aware of being filmed. The files revealed annotated overlays with market values beside each procedure. The notes used both medical shorthand and Buddhist terminology. Liver equals generosity. Eye equals truth. Every organ was assigned a virtue, every incision a symbolic exchange. It wasn't simply commerce. It was ritualized ideology recorded for bidders who believed in transcendence through transaction. Interpol analysts confirmed that wallets tied to the auctions received consistent payments minutes before each operation began. Some transactions contained personalized messages. For renewal, for my next life, the buyers weren't just paying for tissue. They were purchasing participation in what the pamphlets had promised, salvation by proxy. When technicians enhanced the final video, they identified the faint reflection of a second camera filming from behind the surgeon. Someone had been documenting the documenter. That second perspective appeared briefly, showing a small crowd standing beyond the light, masked, silent, holding candles. The footage ended with a cut to black, followed by one text frame. Cycle complete. Investigators concluded that the spiritual body trade wasn't a front for organ theft, but a cult that monetized belief itself. Dr. Prasert's absence was no longer viewed as disappearance but ascension, a man consumed by his conviction that morality could be transplanted like flesh. The footage never reached the public, but a single still image leaked, a surgical lamp glowing above an empty table, light spilling onto a brass tag marked PA. For viewers online, it became a symbol, proof that the most disturbing videos are the ones that look like worship. By mid-2025, the Bangkok surgeon case had disappeared from public conversation. Official reports cited ongoing investigation, but internally, agencies closed the file. Evidence at Theta remains sealed inside a temperature-controlled vault at Thailand's Ministry of Digital Affairs. Even investigators who worked the raid were required to sign new non-disclosure clauses. Whistleblowers later confirmed that fragments of the footage were copied onto secure training servers for forensic education. In classrooms, students studied the metadata, never the images, learning how belief could hide inside code. What had begun as a dark web anomaly evolved into a cautionary tale about the limits of visibility. Some crimes live not in pictures but in permissions. Months later, the United Nations issued new digital ethics guidelines recognizing visual residue as protected personal data. Bangkok became a precedent in international law, the first case where an image without identity was considered a victim. The irony was unavoidable. A story about body parts had transformed into legislation about ghosts. Dr. Prasert Ananakal was never found. His name remains listed as missing, presumed deceased. Yet occasional screenshots still surface on encrypted forums, low-resolution teal frames, timestamps erased, a brass tag reflecting light. Whether they are copies or clever forgeries, no one can say. The algorithm still remembers. For the public, the Bangkok surgeon became modern folklore, a digital urban legend whispered across true crime podcasts and ethical panels alike. The account, the auction, the cult all blurred into the same question. When does a camera stop recording evidence and start recording faith? And somewhere between data and devotion, the light above that empty table keeps flickering, 7 seconds on, 7 seconds off. This file will remain sealed until the next discovery from the Forbidden Archive. If you thought the horror ended here, you're wrong. What other dark rituals and forbidden practices are still being performed in secret? Dive deeper into the chilling world of haunted ceremonies, banned footage, and eerie folklore that refuses to stay buried. Click on the playlist to uncover terrifying recordings, lost evidence, and disturbing stories they never wanted you to see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for weekly uploads of spine-tingling footage and dark tales that echo from the shadows. This is the Forbidden Archive, where the hidden truth and haunting evidence come to life.